Welcome back to the XR Health podcast, Therapy Without Limits. This month, we are talking about a support worker's perspective. And coming back to the podcast is myself. My name is Jessica. I am the lead physiotherapist at XR Health. I have been with the company for 4.5 years, and I absolutely love integrating VR therapy into my practice and also delivering physiotherapy via telehealth. And I'm also joined with me one of our star OTs, Tim. Tim, did you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Tim. I'm an occupational therapist, as Jess said. I've worked with XR Health for the last two-ish years. I've got a background in pediatric mental health, upper limb rehabilitation, and proprioception and all things movement-based. So, yeah, very excited to talk about the VR and very excited to talk about support work today, as I've got a little bit of a background in that as well. So, hopefully, I can add a little bit more to our amazing special guest today, Sam, who's joining us.
Yeah, so we're very lucky to be joined by Sam, who is our healthcare administrator in the office. At XR Health, Sam is involved in supporting our participants right through their pathway in joining XR Health from the beginning, being the first contact on the phone, lovely warm contact to speak to, right through to supporting our practitioners in providing a quality service to our participants. So Sam has quite an interesting background, which we're going to delve into today, which is working as an NDIS support worker. And we've asked her to join us today so that we can gain her perspective. So, welcome, Sam.
Thanks, guys, for having me today.
No worries. So, firstly, maybe if we can talk a little bit about your background, Sam, as a support worker.
Yeah, of course. So a bit about my background. I was working as a support worker for about 3 years before I started working with XR Health. During that time, I supported roughly 20 clients in various ongoing roles. The work was really diverse because I supported clients with different needs and in different circumstances. I also supported a really wide range of age. So I had people as young as 7 years old, but I was looking after all the way up to about 70. And due to this, the level of supports really varied quite a lot. For some clients, it was more just involved in day-to-day assistance, like helping with routines or community access. And for others, the focus was elsewhere, like providing guidance, just companionship, or helping them maintain their independence wherever they were. So overall, those 3 years gave me a lot of practical experience working with people from different backgrounds, abilities, and different stages of life.
Awesome. So, just to recap too, because there might be some people listening to the podcast who don't actually know what a support worker is. So, could we say that a support worker is someone that comes into your home that helps you with many things that you might need, like personal cares, having showers, getting dressed, cooking meals, those sorts of things, as well as taking you to activities, engaging in the community. Um, have I missed anything, Sam? Would you add to that?
Yeah. So as a support worker, I was mostly engaged by families or individuals that um, just needed someone there to assist with their needs. So for some people, like you said, it might be their day-to-day routines, whether it be their personal hygiene, getting ready, having a shower, starting off their day in that way, down to helping someone cook with their cooking, meal prepping, even just cleaning around the house, just helping them maintain the independence in the home. And for other people, it is a bit more of a helping them access stuff. So if they have appointments they need to get to, you're there to help support them in getting there or even through the appointment, or even picking up from school and taking home, that sort of thing. So yeah, I did a lot around that.
Awesome. And can you tell us, so you've been with XI Health for a little while now, and it's been lovely to have you, but could you tell us a little bit more about what you enjoy about working for XI Health?
Yeah, so I started with XR Health last year. I'm a little bit still of the new kid on the block, but I can say I'm really enjoying the role with XR Health, and the people are probably the best part of this role, both the staff and the participants. I get to have a lot of contact with both parties, and it's really brilliant. The team I work with is incredibly supportive. I feel like everyone brings their own expertise and perspective, and there's a real sense that we're all working together towards the same goal, which can be a little bit hard to find in some workplaces. But it's really created a positive environment where, I don't know, people feel like they're always willing to help each other out, share their ideas, and support one another. And yeah, it's a working environment I haven't been a part of before, and it's really, really lovely. And at the same time, the participants are a huge part of what makes this work so rewarding. I love getting to know them, hearing their stories, and it's really meaningful. Every participant brings something unique, and building those connections, it's really personal and impactful. So for me, it really is a combination of a great team of staff and the amazing participants we get to work with.
That's really cool. And I think with your background in support work, Sam, it adds that level of understanding when you are that sort of first line of contact for clients that are signing on with us or that are the existing clients that are coming through, and allows you to connect and make those interactions, like you said, a bit more meaningful. So yeah, I think that background in support work is really important, and is a big contribution to the role that you have at XR.
So valuable,
Yeah,
so
thanks,
valuable.
Tim.
Yeah,
Mm.
so valuable to have that skill and that background to add to your role. Like I think we're really lucky to have someone like Sam being involved in our back end processes with that skill and knowledge. I think it's really special.
Thanks, guys.
So on that, what do you think support work teaches you that most administrative roles don't teach you?
Oh, yeah. Maybe one thing I think support work has taught me would be, I guess, how to truly hear people and develop that genuine empathy, like you guys just sort of touched on. Um, when you've been working directly with the individuals and supporting them in their day-to-day lives, you learn very quickly that listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding what someone is feeling in that moment, what they might be struggling with behind the scenes, and what they, yeah, may actually need in that moment that isn't being vocalized. I feel like the support work really teaches you to slow down and be present with people, and that can help you to meet people where they are without judgment. Everyone has their own experiences and challenges, and I guess their own way of navigating life. And I think it's really important to know how to create a space where people feel safe, respected, and understood. And I think that a level of empathy is something that is really powerful these days. It changes how anyone approaches every interaction they have. And it can remind you that behind every task or every request or even every conversation, there is a real person with their own story. And in a setting like we have in telehealth, where you can't see people's faces a lot of the time, still understanding that that's a real person on the other end is something really powerful. So, in a lot of ways, I guess support work helped me build emotional awareness and human connection that I might not have gotten in a more traditional administrative role.
I think that is a very um, great point in the skills that you're bringing, the emotional awareness that you have developed in being a support worker. It's such an amazing way to look at it with the perspective of slowing down and being present. Like that is just such a it's such a powerful thing to learn, I think, in any job. And yeah, we are on the other side of a phone or the other side of a computer, and we're not right in front of people. So I think having those skills in your tool belt is important for all of us delivering telehealth therapy and the service that we're delivering as well, from the touch of making a call to our office right through to the processes that have to go on in order for us to deliver the service that we do.
I would agree with that. And I think um, being boots on the ground is really important to, like you said, Sam, that empathy connection with, say, parents that are calling through, that are dealing with challenges every single day. And you've been in that situation. You've got that experience in working in that space and understanding the challenges that do come with having a child with a disability or a neurodivergent child. And it gives you that opportunity to really connect with people. So I think, like even for me, being a former support worker, that helped me gain an appreciation for not only the clients that we work with and their families, but every step in the allied health process, from being a support worker to the staff that make the phone calls to the therapists that are working on treatment plans. Like there's a whole layer of people that are working around this one person to give them the support. And I think the more people that work in different spaces within allied health, the more they can contribute to the role that they eventually end up in.
Yeah, I think that care is more successful if the team is banding around the participant, communicating with each other from the level of the therapist to the parents to whomever is involved, the support workers in that person's journey.
I think that having that face-to-face connection daily with people, you can get quite oblivious to some things and start treating work just as work, but just remembering they're real people, everyone has their own story. There are different reasons why they're having the contact with you on that day, and just being aware of that it can help your connection with them.
And I guess on the flip side of that is the challenges that are presented to you as a support worker. And I'm guessing that it is a challenging job in some ways, in being in the trenches with the participants. So you're with them through thick and thin. So could you speak to a little bit about maybe some of the challenges of being a support worker?
Yeah, of course. Look, all jobs have their challenges, and the challenges with support work definitely don't take away the joy of the role. But I would say one of the biggest challenges I faced while being a support worker was learning how to maintain those healthy boundaries, especially emotionally, when you are building that empathy towards your clients and you are working with families quite often. It is very hard to find those lines and make sure those boundaries are kept. Um, and you're supporting them through a lot of different challenges in their life. So it can be very easy to take those experiences home with you and let it, have an effect on your own life, and the way you respond to the client. So over time, I really had to learn how to separate work from my personal life so that I could be there, I could be present, and I could care for the people while protecting myself. So that was definitely one of the bigger ones. But another challenge, it can be the organizations you work within. The level of support, communication, and structure can vary a lot depending on the workplace, and that can impact how you feel in your role as a worker. Really making sure you find the right company that fits your own values, I feel like is very important to how you show up for your clients. Um, and just like any job, I'd say everyone has their own feelings and everyone has their own difficult days. Everyone has days where they just don't feel 100% or just on the lower side. And I feel like when you show up for your clients, they rely on you bringing your full attention and energy. So you have to learn that level of professionalism where you can put your stuff to the side and show up, be present, be positive, and focus on their needs. Um, so yeah, like even though there were challenges, I feel like it did teach me a lot in resilience, again, emotional awareness, and the importance of looking after myself so I could continue supporting others in a really meaningful way.
I think that's really, really important to acknowledge the challenges of being a support worker and working in allied health. And more importantly, the importance of having a really supportive company behind you. And I'm really glad that you did bring that up. And XR does provide a really supportive environment for all the staff with check-ins and supervision and a whole range of different ways of making sure that we're looked after, even though we all work remotely and separated, we still are connected and we still chat every day and we do check in with each other. So I think it's really important to acknowledge that, yeah, there are challenges in being a support worker or working in allied health, but those challenges can be mitigated with, looking after yourself, and that comes down to how much the company is willing to support their staff, and we're very fortunate to work for a company that is quite supportive in that.
Definitely. That self-care item is a tough one when you're the therapist or the support worker, the person that's giving. You're giving all day to ensure that somebody else is being looked after, which is so rewarding. It's a lovely part of the job. It gives you a great feeling at the end of the day that you've done something for someone else. You've done some good in the day, but all that giving then requires you to fill your own cup back up and ensure that you look after yourself. And having a company that can help you to do that. I'm just thinking about we had a group meeting the other day and we talked about what we're going to do for self-care at the end of the meeting, which I think is lovely. And it's challenging for me to do that personally. But I think it's a really
Yeah,
important thing that we need to keep an eye on so that we can show up, for our participants and our clients.
absolutely. There are no worse people on the planet for practicing self-care than therapists and people
Yes.
that work in healthcare, because we'll talk about it all day and we never do it ourselves. So yeah.
Don't tell them, Tim. Don't tell them.
Yeah, I know they'll know our
It's a
secrets.
secret.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it's one of the best things you can learn within yourself and understanding that how can you show up fully for someone else if you're not looking after yourself first?
so true. It's so true. It's something you have to work on. It's a skill. It's a skill that you have to learn, that you have to work on. Otherwise, you end up burnt out and not enjoying your role. So yeah, it's something that you learn as you travel through your career.
So what did you enjoy about being a support worker? We've kind of talked about the challenges, but what do you find are the things that I guess keep you showing up for work or that you really enjoyed about being a support worker?
Oh, that one's easy. Like one of the things I really enjoyed about being a support worker was just seeing the progress that clients made over time. Like when you're working with someone consistently and building that relationship over a long period, you get to witness their journey and all of the meaningful steps they take along the way. Sometimes the progress might seem small from the outside, but when you've been there from the beginning, you can really see how far someone has come, whether it's gaining confidence, becoming more independent, or achieving one of their personal goals. Those moments are really, really rewarding. And it's watching that growth. It, yeah, it's really remarkable. You get to celebrate the wins with them and all of that. But on the flip side, you're also trusted enough to support them through the downs, and that's pretty special too. And it's because of all that um, rewarding growth that you know that the time and the patience and the support that you've provided has contributed to someone improving their quality of life. Um, but at the same time, I also really enjoyed that my clients taught me a lot. They taught me a lot about how I navigate my day-to-day life, and I learned a lot of things about myself and how I look at the world through the way they viewed me and treated me. So that was pretty good.
I think that when you spend time with people with disabilities and gaining their perspective and learning about their strengths and their will and the way that they look at the world. It's so grounding, and I think that it teaches you so much to spend time with people um, whom are, have their challenges or struggles in the world, but then you look at their perspective and you're like, wow, I could just learn so much from that, from the way that they look at the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's one of
Yeah.
the most rewarding parts of our job is seeing that growth that you talked about, Sam, and you as well, Jess. Seeing people develop skills or have that sort of light bulb moment where they realize, oh, I can actually do this. And even though we're there for all those challenges, we're there just as much for those wins as well. And I think it's the most rewarding part of our jobs.
And the key word there is rewarding, right? It's such a rewarding job. You when you meet people and you tell them that you're a therapist, they're always like, "Oh wow, like that's amazing. Like what a rewarding job." It's if you're showing up and you're helping people, I think any job where you can make someone else's life richer and better is just so special. And I think every day I think how lucky I am to be able to make a change in someone else's life, to have that skill and be able to provide that service to make change. I just think that it's really special, and there's lots of people who don't get to do that every day in their jobs.
That's it. Our goal
Yeah.
is that we don't want our clients to need us anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
one of my favorite things I used to say in upper limb rehab is I hope I never see you again when I get to discharge a patient because I do genuinely mean that. And it's not because I don't like them, it's because I don't want them to get injured again. So I've hoped that I never see them again, and it usually gets a good laugh.
Yeah. Not entirely true. Like you wouldn't mind running into them at the shops or whatever, but
Exactly. It always
don't.
ends up with, oh, we can meet up at the bar for a drink or something like that. Like if I see you at the pub, we can grab a drink. I was like, absolutely, but don't come back into therapy ever again. We're all good.
Don't
That's
come.
it.
Don't. I don't want to see you in a cast. I do not
Exactly.
want to see that again.
Happy to know you
Uh,
in a different space.
exactly. So maybe if we can segue into talking a little bit about communication, because I know that in our roles, communication is a really important skill that we build, and I am sure that communicating as a support worker or learning the skills to communicate with all of those different variety of clients that you happen to deal with, Sam. Could you speak to a little bit about how your experience working as a support worker has actually impacted the way that you might communicate in your work now?
Yeah. I think after having been in the support worker role, I have a much better understanding of like the complexities that many participants might be experiencing in their day-to-day lives. I was there when, families are dealing with one provider than another. So just knowing that it's not just one service or provider they're dealing with, they may be coordinating with multiple therapists, support workers, family members, and even just the broader NDIS system all at the same time. It's like there can be a lot going on in the background of their personal lives that we may not always be aware of or be able to see. So in that, just understanding to communicate with the patients and empathy, it's just more mindful that sometimes delays and challenges or frustrations might not be about the actual situation in front of us, but about everything else someone could be juggling in their personal life. Like, yeah, just being considerate and supportive, reminding me that, not to jump to those assumptions and see if there are any barriers they're experiencing that we can help out with and just being supportive. At the end of the day, we just want to help everyone as best we can, and we don't want to add on to what they might already be experiencing in their lives. So just offering that hand, seeing what we can do to help them rather than assuming.
And given that we have psychologists OTs and physios that work for Exo Health Australia, you would be interacting with a wide variety of participants and clients who would have a wide variety of issues underlying in the background. So people that are in pain, chronic pain, potentially, people who have disabilities, people who have mental health problems. So I think that having that background in support working, being on the front line and having that experience with like seeing them in their homes and seeing what they're dealing with gives you that perspective of the variety of things that might be going on in their home or in their personal life in behind a closed door. Like you've got that almost like that insider perspective.
I've
Thank
worked
you.
with families where I've seen the parents having, 20 mental tabs open at once, trying to remember to cancel this or update this or book this. And I see the stress it can cause in their day-to-day lives. Um, and so just being there to meet them and say, hey, what can I do for you? Rather than what do you need from me? I think that makes a pretty big difference.
I love that analogy of mental tabs because I just imagined my own computer with all of the tabs. There's a lot of
Yeah,
tabs. So I think that's
becomes
actually
hard to navigate them all.
it's a really good analogy. That's yeah, that
I
really
like
strikes
that.
a chord with me. Yeah.
So, Sam, what are some of the small adjustments that make such a big difference for our neurodivergent clients?
Oh, okay. One of the things I've learned when working with neurodivergent clients is that small adjustments can make a really big difference. Like you can't just assume that what works for one person will work for everyone. Every client is different, and part of the role is learning to pivot and adapt your approach based on the client's needs that's in front of you. So there aren't really any boxes or guides that you can follow or assume. It's just about observing, listening, and responding to what each person needs in that moment. So for a lot of people, it could be something as simple as adjusting the way an instruction is given, or just changing the environment around you, or just giving them more time to process something. And it's those little changes that can help clients feel more comfortable, understood, and be able to engage in a way that works best for them. Everyone is able to give you more when they feel safe. So changing an environment can really affect that for someone. So ultimately, I guess, it just comes down to flexibility and patience and recognizing that each person exists on that broad spectrum and our support has to meet them and where they're at.
We absolutely love patient-centered care across the board, and I guess from like an OT perspective, there's nothing that bothers me more than watching someone treat a patient with like a cookie cutter approach, where it's like I have learnt the rehab protocol for this, and I'm going to apply it to this person because it doesn't take into any of the factors that makes that person unique and talented and special and all the positive things that we look at. So I think that tailor-made service is something that we really excel at XI Health because we have to be able to adapt on the fly, and to use our technology to meet the needs of each individual client. I think support work really leads into that as well because when you're working with 20 clients, like Sam was saying earlier, you can't treat all the 20 of those clients with the same approach. Every single person needs a different style, a different way, and I think that forges a stronger connection between, the allied health team and the client.
I think that uh, all great points that you guys have made. And just, making small adjustments for our neurodivergent clients is like a huge part of our job. Uh, so it's really important to be able to understand how to make those little micro adjustments that might actually turn a therapy session around or turn the conversation around. So knowing how to change your approach on the fly. So the tone of voice, what you've said, asking them the right questions. So being aware of the adjustments that you can make in order to make their experience smooth and without the bumps, even though the bumps will come, but being able to then mitigate those situations and being able to change your approach really quickly. And over time you develop the things that work for some people, and then those things might not work for the next person, but then having all of those tools in your toolbox ready to be like, okay, we're going to change it up, okay, we're going to try something differently, and just understanding that no person is the same as the next person, and having that variety in your approach being really important for those populations. So if we just change gears and start to think about maybe the clients out there who are living rurally or who have lower mobility and are having issues accessing therapy, or people that might just be interested in trying a telehealth style therapy approach. It might be a really busy mum who has 4 children who are neurodivergent, and they all have to attend therapy, and there's just not enough days in the week for that to get out to face-to-face therapy. So maybe it's that sort of person that might be thinking, okay, this approach might work for my family, but I'm not really sure where to start. So maybe, Sam, from your perspective in the role that you hold with XR Health, what would you say to someone who is not too sure about how or whether they should reach out for therapy with us?
Yeah, if someone's unsure about reaching out, I would simply just say you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. There are so many options available that can be tailored to suit anybody's needs and lifestyle, and even the way they want to engage with support. I mean, we are in the telehealth world, so being able to extend to people who, for whatever reason, can't engage in other ways, that's pretty great. But whether it's in person, telehealth, individual sessions, group programs, there really is a way to make it work for everyone. There's also different professionals you can connect with, each bringing their own approach and expertise. You just have to find the right person to work with, and it can really make a huge difference in your experience and outcomes. Once you find the right fit in a person with the same values and goals, it can all just come together. And I know reaching out is the first step, and it is often the hardest, but it really opens doors to support, guidance, and positive change. And even if it takes a few tries to find the right fit, every step forward is progress.
And you can always call and speak to Sam in the office or Sarah in the office, and have a discussion about how the services might fit for you. So you don't have to book an appointment straight away. You can call, you can feel the waters, you can have a chat about how it would work for you, how it would look, what services you might want to access. All of those things could be spoken about just in a casual conversation. Pick up the phone, old style. You can also email if you wanted to ask any questions. It's easy to make that first step. And or maybe actually, is it hard to make that first step? I guess it's harder to make that first step, but then once you've made that step, things will start to flow, and you'll generally find that there'll be something that you'll benefit from here at XR Health. There'll be a therapist that can help you, and we can work as a team to try and fit that into your goals and what you want to achieve from your therapy.
That's right. If you have any questions, give us a call and we can answer any questions you have.
The email is info.au@xr.health if you wanted to email. And the phone number is, Sam, do you know the phone number?
1300 907 815.
Fantastic. Thank you. Still looking it up after 4 years, but I'm glad
Okay,
you know it off by heart.
we never call the office. It's fine.
You should call me more, actually. Call me
We
more.
should. Well, we use a different channel, don't we?
I sent you a barn burner of a pun earlier this week. I feel like I've got that for a while. Well, look, thanks so much for joining us today, Sam, and sharing your thoughts and experiences with us. I think I can speak for myself and Jess that it's been really helpful to gain a perspective of a support worker and how you're bringing those skills to your role here at XI Health.
Thanks for having me today, guys. It's always a good time having a chat with you.
Yeah.
Join us next time when we sit down with our Vice President, Martine McCash, and talk about the journey of XI Health Australia and how far we've come since landing here in Australia in 2019.